Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The American drug maker Moderna says it will apply to the Food and Drug Administration for the emergency authorization of its coronavirus vaccine. CEO Stéphane Bancel said in an interview that the first injection may be given as early as December the 21st. The data shows that the vaccine is 94.1% effective and that the study that included 30,000 people has met the scientific criteria for approval. The company has said that it was on track to produce 20 million doses by the end of December and reach 500 million next year. Moderna is the second vaccine maker after Pfizer to apply for emergency use authorization. Meanwhile, the United States' top disease expert has warned the country could see a surge upon surge of coronavirus cases as people return home from the Thanksgiving holiday. Dr. Anthony Fauci said it was not too late for those yet to travel to help curb the virus by wearing masks and socially distancing. Last year, an estimated 26 million people passed through US airports in the weeks surrounding the holiday. Health experts had called for people to spend Thanksgiving at home, but this week US airports marked their busiest period since mid-March. More than 266,000 people have died in America from the virus so far. China's government has refused to apologize after posting a fake picture on an official Twitter account that depicted an Australian soldier murdering an Afghan child. The image referred to alleged war crimes by Australian soldiers, with allegations of the murders of Afghan civilians and prisoners. It comes during a time of escalating political tensions between the two countries. Australia's Prime Minister said Beijing should apologise for sharing the repugnant image.
It is utterly outrageous, and it cannot be justified on any basis whatsoever. The Chinese government should be totally ashamed of this post.
The Tigray People's Liberation Front leader Debretsion Gebremichael says his troops are still fighting against the military near the city of Mekelle, which was seized by the government over the weekend. Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has told Parliament that not a single civilian casualty has been reported in the nearly month-long offensive. The fight has taken a toll on the main hospital of the capital of Ethiopia's northern Tigray region. The Red Cross has warned that supplies of medicines, antibiotics and even gloves are dangerously low as it treats the wounded from the conflict around the city. The 4 French policemen caught on camera beating a black music producer at his studio in Paris earlier this month have been charged. Earlier last week, video emerged of white officers attacking producer Michael Zekler. The 4 suspects are now facing charges of intentional violence by a person holding authority. The video has sparked protests around the country against police violence and a new bill that would restrict the right to film or take photos of police. The new Article 24 would make it a criminal offence to publish images of an on-duty police officer, leading up to a year in prison and a fine of €45,000. Iran is currently burying its most senior nuclear scientist following his assassination last Friday on a highway near the capital. State TV showed the coffin of Mohsen Fakhrizadeh draped in the Iranian flag being transported through a Muslim shrine. The Defense Ministry said his remains will then be taken to Imam Khomeini's shrine in the capital. Fakhrizadeh was credited as the founder of Iran's nuclear program in the early 2000s. The country's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is blaming Israel and the United States for his death. New Zealand's health and safety authorities have filed charges against 13 parties over last year's deadly White Island disaster. 22 people died when the country's most active volcano suddenly erupted last December with tourists on it. 10 parties now face charges under the Health and Safety at Work Act, which carries a maximum fine of 1.5 million New Zealand dollars. And finally, known as the world's loneliest elephant after languishing alone for years in a Pakistani zoo, Kavan has finally arrived in Cambodia where he can live with other elephants. The plight of Kavan, an overweight 35-year-old bull elephant, has drawn international condemnation and highlighted the woeful state of Islamabad Zoo. The US pop star Cher met Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan on Friday before the relocation after she had campaigned for years and helped pay for Kavan to be moved. There was cheers and applause as his crate was lifted onto a lorry before he was taken by military convoy to the airport. He has since touched down in Cambodia, where he will live in a 1 million acre wildlife sanctuary housing a wide range of endangered species. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel studios in Lagos.